So we have to be realistic. It is going to be not a spectacular outcome when it comes to this meeting. It is a way forward, how to move forward in a very, very unpredictable world today. The fact that India and China need to, in many ways than one, stand together. And it's not just India, China, Maria. You'll be seeing Russia, India, China also. So if Russia, India, China come together, have an understanding of a working relationship, that also could ease a lot of the economic problems and troubles that we are seeing not just in the region, but we'll be seeing through the world. So sensibility should prevail over here.
Okay, Dr. Tarakarta, you made an interesting observation when you joined us on this broadcast. You said, at least they are meeting. Just look at it. Prime Minister Modi has traveled to Tianjin for this summit. So that in itself is a big movement forward.
Well, it is, considering that all that has happened so far. I mean, I'm talking from the Western point of view, how they're going to look at it. As far as we are concerned, however, that border situation remains central. As long as you are sitting nose to nose on the border, everything else is gloss. That is the bottom line. But however, I really like Gaurav Sawant's point he made that China doesn't talk of a multipolar Asia. It wants to talk of a multipolar world. China doesn't recognize you as a pole. It sees you as one of those, small countries which it has to deal with. Now, from the sense I'm getting, like I said, from the Chinese media, from Chinese chatter, is that, like I said, again, the fact that it stood up to the tariffs makes a difference. But that is just an additional thing. Also, what you said, the fact that can you send exports to China? What are you capable of exporting? Not just a one-way thing. So that the fact that the NDRC chairman is is right next to I think is one thing down President Xi Jinping, that clearly is a very important facet of this dialogue. Because that they are the key in terms of the trade issues. And for us at the moment, for Prime Minister Modi, the economy is number one.
Priority, yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Tarakarta, I'm looking at this trade deficit. The deficit with China now stands at $99.2 billion, making up almost 35% of India's entire trade imbalance.
It's massive, and which is where the US commentators say that this SCO is going nowhere because we have a trade surplus with the US, whereas you have a trade deficit with the China. So this whole China is central to all of these countries which are attending it. And you've seen Russia coming with I think 3 deputy prime ministers. There's a huge delegation. They're all, I won't say they're dependent on China, but it is the key to their economic welfare. For us, the US is still important. You can't get away from that. Okay. And unless the Chinese are willing to change that equation drastically, but again, like I said, part of it is our fault. What are you capable of exporting? That's also an issue. When you talk of Atmanirbhar, you need to look at that as well. But that it is very crucial. I don't know if there's a big breakthrough because that is not Beijing style. Okay. In giving this huge.
Okay, so there is more news coming in, ma'am, about what President Xi Jinping said. He has said that this year marks the 75th anniversary of China-India diplomatic relations. He goes on to say that both nations need to handle our relationship from a strategic and long-term perspective. We must also step up to our historic responsibilities to uphold multilateralism, a multipolar world, and more democracy in international institutions, and work together for peace and prosperity in Asia and around the world. Let me bring in Gaurav again. President Xi Jinping here, Gaurav, saying that the world is going towards transformation and China and India are 2 of the most civilizational countries. We are the world's most populous countries and part of the global south. It is vital to be friends, a good neighbor, and the dragon and the elephant to come together.
So when the dragon and the elephant have to come together and you're 2 vital neighbors, you cannot have tensions at the borders. And it's very important when you talk to China, you look at what China does on ground and not sweet words. Like we were having our conversation throughout, these words are all extremely sweet. 75th year of China-India diplomatic relations. Both nations need to handle our relations from a strategic and long-term perspective. Absolutely. But that strategic and long-term perspective also means that borders have to be peaceful. Are our borders peaceful? From post-Kazan, at least there's disengagement. But is there de-escalation? And de-escalation again is a very temporary measure. Is there demarcation of the border so that you know where both armies are standing? Is there gradual pullback of troops? 50,000 troops cannot remain amassed at borders. It's costing both countries. It costs India more because China is a richer country. So very, very sweet words from China, it's almost as if they kill you with their kindness. But beyond that, beyond those words, what are the actions that follow? The nuclear suppliers group. You'd remember Prime Minister Narendra Modi, when he was sworn in, he made that push for India to be a member of the NSG, and America made that big push for India, but China blocked it. Will there be forward movement on that? Many say there would be, but clearly the relationship hasn't reached that stage where China would enable India to rise even further. China talks of one power in Asia, which is China. India talks about, and this is the basic difference in the civilizational philosophy. India's civilizational philosophy is peaceful coexistence of all. All can grow. The world is large enough for all to grow. But do we see that on the Chinese side? Very clearly not. So that is where that big push comes. When those Apple iPhones are being manufactured in India, when India talks about China plus one, you bring manufacturing in India. What does China do? It withdraws its engineers. Now, does that ensure that the elephant and the tiger, or the dragon and the tiger, or the dragon and the elephant, as China likes to put it, they can dance together? No, it does not. So sweet words, yes. India very clearly wants to see sweet action follow. The relationship will be gauged by action on ground, not by sweet words of diplomacy.
Okay, mutual respect, sensitivity and interest is what India also highlighted here, Gaurav. But when you say that we have to move beyond sweet words, do you sense that this nature of sweetness was also there in the past? And then it was followed by betrayal, multiple such incidents, Doklam, Galwan, and regular incursions which are happening in Ladakh? Or is there some shift in China's language too?
Look, China has followed one policy and a civilizational policy which we unfortunately, our memories are very short. When the Kargil war was happening, China started making a road towards Finger 8. Because we were involved in the Kargil war of 1999, India kind of chose to ignore it. We ignore problems till the time they're at our doorstep. Each time a Chinese head of state visits India, their soldiers follow at the LAC.